High school feels like a place where everyone wants to be seen, loud laughter in the corridors, endless gossip echoing in the bathrooms, and secret glances exchanged in the cafeteria. But John Jungkook, he was different. He didn't want to be seen. He just was. He was famous even back then, not just for his looks, which were ridiculous for a teenage boy like a manga character come to life, but for the way he moved through the world like he owed no one a single explanation. Tall, quiet, and effortlessly cool, he was the kind of boy people either admired from afar or tried hopelessly to impress. You were no different, except you never tried to talk to him, not at first, because what was the point? He didn't care about the fangirls, he barely even acknowledged them, he never smiled when the girls left note in his locker or clung to his sleeve in the hall. He just kept his headphones in, hurry up, walking through the chaos like he was made of silence and shadows. You used to think maybe if you were beautiful enough, bold enough, loud enough, he might see you, but you weren't. So instead, you watched quietly from behind the curtain of your hair, 3 rows back in the literature class. You never told anyone how your heartbeat fasted whenever he scratched the back of his neck, or how you stayed behind after class just to walk past the music room. Hoping to hear his voice, you told yourself it was just a crush, but it wasn't. It was the kind of quiet, burning love that hurts because it's invisible, because he didn't even know your name, or so you thought. The day you confessed. It had taken you 3 weeks to gather the courage. You rewrote your confession letter 10 times and still ended up toasting it. In the end, you stood in front of him after school, hands trembling hard, trying to rip out of your chest. He was leaning against the wall near the bike rack, scrolling through his phone, the sun did low behind him, painting him in a glow that made everything feel more impossible. You called his name, he looked up slowly through sharp, tired eyes flickered towards you, unreadable. Yeah, your throat tightened. I just wanted to say something. He stayed silent, watching, waiting. I like you, you whispered. I don't. It's stupid, and you probably think I'm just another one of those girls who follow you around, but I don't, he interrupted softly. I don't think that. You blinked. You don't? He shook his head once, then after a long pause his voice came low, almost regretful. But I can't accept your feelings. I'm sorry. It wasn't cruel, it wasn't dramatic, it was gentle, but it shattered you all the same. You nodded like it didn't matter, smiled like it didn't break your heart, then walked away, holding back tears until you were out of sight. After that, you stopped looking at him in class, stopped waiting near the music room, stopped writing his name in the margin of your notebook, because John Jungkook, the boy who never cared about anyone, had finally spoke to you, and he said no. The lights of Seoul blurred around you, headlights and neon lights smearing across your cab window like street of memory. You plugged the concert ticket in your hand, BTS John Jungkook solo World Tour Seoul finally. You hadn't thought of him in years, or so told yourself, but when your best friend handed you the extra ticket with a squeal of excitement, your stomach dropped. You tried to refuse, but it was too late. And now here you were, standing in a sea of screaming fans, surrounded by elastic glitter and hearts pounding louder than the speaker. He stepped onto the stage like a stone dressed in velvet, confident, little, beautiful, and for a moment the years folded in on themselves. He wasn't Jungkook, the global idol. He was still the boy in a hoodie, quietly rejecting your heart outside the bike racks. But something was different now, because as the spotlight hit his face and he looked out at the crowd, his eyes flickered across the front rows and landed on you. He froze only for a second, but it was long enough to feel it. He recognized you, and this time he didn't look away. The concert ended in a blur of light, smoke, and screams you barely heard. Your heart was still racing, your palms clammy around the crumpled elastic. Jungkook had disappeared behind the curtains after his final bow, head down, sat clinging to his jawline, the roar of the crowd swallowing his name, but you were stuck frozen in your seat. Because when he looked at you, it wasn't a fake gaze across the crowd, it was real, sharp, certain. Like someone remembering a name they hadn't spoken in years. You could have convinced yourself it was nothing. Maybe he was looking at the girl beside you. Maybe the street light made it seem like his gaze lingered longer than it did. You could have until the staff member approached. "Excuse me," the woman said politely, holding an iPad and looking slightly breathless. "Are you Ryan?" You step in. "Yes, please come with me. Your mind real sorry, but why?" "I'm not allowed to say," she replied gently, but he asked. Backstage. You follow her in silence, weaving through cold hallways and thick velvet curtains. Your steps felt too loud, your breath shallow. The backstage area was with quiet chaos. Dancers exiting, makeup artists packing up, the stylist high-fiving one another. You didn't block here. Everything inside you screamed that this was a mistake, that any second now someone would stop you and say, "Sorry, wrong girl." But no one did. The staff member led you to a private dressing room, door polished wooden, gold nameplate 𝐲𝐨𝐿. She gave you a small smile and left without another word. You stood there staring at the door like it might vanish. You should leave. This was insane, but your hand lifted anyway, hesitating inches away. Before you could knock, the door opened from the inside. And there he was, Jungkook. No stage, no cameras, just him, hair damp from sweat, sleeves rolled up, chest rising and falling like he'd just run a mile. "You came," he said, voice quiet. You couldn't speak. At first, he looked different up close now, older, sharper, but still keenly familiar. His eyes held the same stillness from high school, the same depth, the same quiet weight of 1,000 thoughts he never said out loud. "I didn't think you'd remember me," you managed to whisper. He tilted his head slightly. "I remember you the moment you looked away." Your breath caught. After I said no, he added voice lower. "Now you didn't look at me again, not once, not for the rest of the year." Silence settled between you, thick with unsaid memories. "I thought I was just another girl who liked you," you said quietly, eyes flickering to the floor. His voice dropped into something softer. "You weren't." He didn't say much at first, just grabbed a hoodie from the coat rack, slipped it over his head, and nodded for you to follow him. You left the arena through a back exit, quiet and empty except for the flickering light above the doorway. The city buzzed in the distance, but this street was calm, tucked away from the chaos of fandoms and crashing cameras. Neither of you spoke for a minute, just the sound of your footsteps soft against the pavement and the night air between you. You walked side by side, not too close, not too far. It felt strange and oddly natural, like something that had been paused for too long was finally starting to move again. The moon spilled across the pavement. Jungkook kicked a stray pebble ahead of him and finally spoke. "I was a mess back then," he said, voice low. "In high school." You glanced at him, unsure what to say. He kept his eyes ahead. "I didn't know how to handle anyone caring about me. I didn't trust it. I didn't trust myself," you said quietly, heart tightening. "I remember the way you looked at me. You always tried to pretend you weren't, but I saw it." Your steps faltered. "You did." He nodded slowly, "and every time I felt your eyes on me, I wanted to look back. I did, but I thought if I let you in, I'd ruin it somehow. I didn't know how to be liked by someone real." You looked away, your voice barely a whisper. "I thought it was one-sided." He stopped walking, so did you. When you turned to face him, he was already looking at you. It wasn't. There was a softness in his eyes now, the kind that used to live behind his silence back then, the kind you never got enough to see. "I used to wait," he said, "for you to pass by the music room. I'd leave the door cracked open just in case I heard your steps." You stared at him, speechless. "I'd glance at you in the class. When I thought you wouldn't notice, you always looked away too fast." Flashback. The old classroom, sunlight pouring through cracked blinds. You turned your head after stealing a glance at him, never knowing he was already watching you. The slow way he'd shift in his seat, the way his lips almost curled into a smile before he stopped himself. He was also watching you just when you turned around, thinking he'll never notice. He always waited for you when you thought you are the one waiting for him, leaving the music room door open. Walk slowly so you don't have to run just to walk behind him. End of flashback. I thought maybe if I stayed distant, I wouldn't mess it up. He admitted his voice quieted now, but I did anyway, didn't I? You felt the edge rise in your thought. All those years of believing you were invisible, all those months replaying his rejection in your head, wondering what you lacked. Why didn't you ever say anything? Because I think I deserve someone who looked at me the way you did. The silence that followed was different this time, no longer filled with the terror of saying the wrong thing. It felt like healing, like understanding. You took a slow step forward, your voice steady despite the fluttering in your chest. I never stopped looking Jungkook. He smiled soft, almost shy, and then, as if the night had been waiting for this moment, a gentle breeze passed. The hum of the city fell away, and the distance between it felt too fragile to keep. You stayed quiet, you didn't trust your voice yet. I thought if I kept my distance, I could protect both of us. He continued, but the truth is, I just ended up losing something I didn't even get the chance to know. You looked up at him, and for once, there was no fear in your chest. You didn't lose me, you said quietly. You just didn't see me back then. I see you now. That was when he moved slowly, carefully, reaching out his fingers, brushed yours with a light, and then he turned his head. Letting your palms meet and rest against each other. He didn't hold you, he waited. He didn't hold you, he waited like he was still asking. You lashed your fingers through his breath hit so subtle. You wouldn't have noticed if you weren't standing this close. Does this still mean something? He asked, almost like he couldn't believe it. You nodded, it always did. The silence that followed was warm, not awkward. It felt like healing. He'd stepped forward just enough that you could feel his warmth in the cool night air.